Hey friends, Chubby Meeple, coming back to you today with another card game to play with your friends. This is a little game that will play from 1 to 4 players in 20, 30 minute kind of play time. Maybe a little bit longer if players are kind of min-maxing things. But the game I'm talking about today, this is Super Kawaii Pets. This is from designer William Cavaglieri. I apologize if I said that wrong, William. William Cavaglieri, published by the folks at Studio Supernova and Arcane Wonders. This game, we'll jump over the table. I'll show you quickly how to play it, give you a brief overview of the ins and outs and everything you need to know to get this to the table, and then we'll jump back over and I'll fill you in on what I think of Super Kawaii Pets. Super Kawaii Pets is a game for 1 to 4 players that sees players taking on the role of essentially pet adopters. You're trying to take sad or upset pets and make them happy. So you're going to be collecting pets, dogs, cats, rodents, and some wild pets like horses and chameleons and parrots. You're going to be playing the different help cards that are necessary, so some medicine, some food, maybe some love if they need it, to turn these animals into happy little pups and cats and miscellaneous animals that are going to score you victory points. And then you can also, when you've met the requirements of having certain sets of animals, you can house those animals inside particular locations to score additional points. The game is going to play until one person has between a combination of happy pets and locations equal to 10, and then you're going to finish out the round, most points wins. To set up a game of Super Kawaii Pets, you're going to shuffle the 3 separate decks of cards: the animal cards, the help cards, and the location cards. You're then going to, for the animals, you're going to put that deck, once it's shuffled, sad side up. So you see the little sad kitten here. That deck is going to stay sad side up. And then you're going to take the top 2 cards and make 2 cards available to the players. So in this case, you have 3 cards for the players to choose from. With the help deck, it's going to be placed in a face down deck. Once shuffled, you're then going to reveal the top 3 cards, giving players, again, 3 choices of help cards. And then for the location deck that we have up here at the top, you're going to shuffle that deck and reveal 3 location cards face up for the players to be able to use their animals to fill those locations. That is all that's required for setup. Before we dive into the actual gameplay, though, I do want to talk about the cards themselves. You will see on the animal cards, they come in one of 3 colors. You have pink cards that primarily rely or need love and affection to become happier animals. You have blue cards that generally need medicine or healing to become happy. And you have your green cards, which are generally looking for food and exercise, those kinds of things, to become happy animals. Likewise, you have pink, blue, and green help cards that provide those particular needs. So your pink cards always give you love or give you a heart symbol. Your blue cards are always giving you medicine or this medical symbol. And your green cards are always giving you food so that you can then fulfill the needs of the animals that you've taken and added to your hand. You will then, as you make animals happy, you'll then be able to put those animals in various locations to score additional points and to make the animals, essentially happier, their home, so to speak. You'll notice when you're looking at the animal cards, the animals have a point value on them. So this lower left-hand corner, you have a 2, an 8, a 5. Those are point values. When the animal is happy, that is how many points that animal will be worth once you fulfill that animal's needs. You'll see we have 2 cats and a dog here face up. There are also rodents, which are this little bunny symbol that you see up on the pink location card in the upper right-hand corner. And then there are wild animals that have a star, a yellow star down here in place of an animal symbol. And those are animals that are basically act as wilds for set collection purposes to make it easier to achieve locations. You'll also have at the top of these animal cards a series of symbols that will indicate what that particular animal needs in order to be happy, have its needs satisfied. This sad little kitty here just needs 1 heart. He needs a little bit of love and he'll be happy. This blue cat here that looks very angry and more angry than sad needs 3 medicines. So this cat's a little aggressive at the moment, probably not feeling well. And then our little green puppy dog here needs 1 medicine and 1 food. Once those are met, those cards will flip over. You'll also, with some of the animals, you don't see them here, but some of the animals will also have an icon in this upper left-hand corner of the card. And that is an ability that the card will give you when you play that card to your tableau in front of you on the table. You'll notice the location cards, 2 of them that we have do have those symbols. So this one here has a food symbol on it. So when I take this location, I would get to grab a food card from the, if there's a food card available, I'd get to take a food card that's face up and add it to my hand. And then this bed up here that's worth 4 points has this pink symbol up here in the upper left-hand corner. When I claim that location, I get to take any available face-up pink card that is on the table. So there are some ways to set up combos as well. You will determine a first player. The rulebook says the last player to have petted an animal becomes the first player. You can also determine that randomly. That player will be given the first player card, and they will have that card for the remainder of the game. This card will be used at the end of the game to determine whether players have had an equal amount of turns or not. So that card will be given to the first player. When you talk about the turn overview and how the game is actually played, when it is your turn, you're going to start your turn always by drawing 2 face-up cards from the table and adding them to your hand. So you're always going to draw 2 cards before you play anything. Those cards that can be taken are help cards or animal cards. The location cards, even though they are face up on the table, are only claimed once you have collected the required animals as indicated on the card. So if it's my turn, I could, for my 2 actions, I could choose to take this little kitty, who's very sad, and I could choose to take this sweet, kindly old lady here and add those cards to my hand. So those cards get added to my hand. Now that I've drawn my 2 cards, I can now on my turn play any number of cards that I would like or am able to. I can play sad animals to the table in front of me into my play area. These are animals that I'm claiming that I want to try and make happy. I can also play cards from my hand to make those animals happy and to kind of trigger those animals or excite them. So I could play this kindly little old lady that's given this cat some love. I can play that down for the love resource, which is all this animal needs to be happy. And then I can flip this cat over to its happy side, showing that it's worth 2 points, and I've gained a cat symbol. I can also, during my turn, if I have collected a prerequisite set of animals needed to claim a location, I can claim a location on that same turn. So I have 1 cat here. This location here requires 1 cat, as indicated by this icon on the upper right-hand corner. So I can immediately take this animal, or take this location, and assign that cat to that, in this case, a box. Put the kitty in a box. And that will give me additional points for my turn. My turn is now over. I could have held cards in hand if I wanted to, but in this case it made sense to play a card and immediately play a help card to make that card happy, which claimed a location, so I'm gaining points. The next player will then fill in any empty spaces. So we had an empty space where I took the help card, so we're going to refill from the deck. If either of these 2 cards had been taken, we would move the top card of this deck over to have 3 available. The next player will then pick, do the exact same thing. Oh, we need to refill a location as well because I claimed one of the locations with my play. The next player in turn order will take 2 cards. So they're going to pick this card up, pick up this little puppy. And this card has, in the upper left-hand corner, this heart symbol. This means if I were to play this animal in front of me onto the table, that I would be able to pick up a heart help card if there's one available in the available cards. In this case, there's not. So if I were to play this down, I wouldn't be able to. The ability's there, but I don't get to take the ability. It only triggers when you play the card down. So maybe I want to hang on to this card in my hand until one of those heart cards is available in the help row, and that way I get a little bit of a bonus for playing this card out of my hand. I've only selected 1 card. I still have to select a second one before I can do anything. So I could take a second animal. I could take a help card. This dog requires 2 medicine and some food, so let's pick up a medicine card just so we're working toward that. This player is going to opt to hang on to these 2 cards in their hand because, again, there's no heart down here available in the row, so they're going to simply hang on to those 2 cards and have those cards in their hand available. So those will be placed face down. Now, there is a maximum hand limit of 5 cards, so at the end of this player's turn, if they had more than 5 cards, they would have to simply discard down, discarding either animals or help cards to get down to 5 cards. The next player in turn order will do the same thing. They'll simply refill the help cards. Again, they would refill the animals if there was a need to. They're going to pick their 2 cards, so maybe they just want to pick up a couple of animals. We're going to pick up these 2 animals. Those get added to their hand. Put those there. Despite what that looks like, this is a hand of cards. They're normally going to be held in your hand, but for video purposes, I'm laying them down on the table. And then if we had a 4th player, that 4th player would refill from where player 3 took animals. Player 3 could also, I should point out as well, of the 2 animals they took, they could choose to play one or both of these animals to the table in front of them. And we're just going to go ahead and do that. Play these two animals face down in front of them. They have two animals down there that they can work on. They've now let other players know what they're looking for. We see they need a lot of medicine and one food card in order to make their animals happy. Again, they would have to discard down to 5 cards if they needed to, but in this case, they're fine. The fourth player would then collect 2 cards, play any number of them, and this is going to continue until one player has in their play area a total of 10 horizontal cards, and that is happy animals and locations. Any combination of happy animals and locations. Once someone hits 10 of those, that will trigger the end of the game. The round will continue until all players have had an equal number of turns, and so the player to the right of our first player will get the last turn. You'll total up points. When you total up points, you're going to add up all of the point values from your happy animals and the locations that you've collected. You will subtract 1 point from your score for every sad animal that you have, whether that is in front of you on your play area or in your hand. You'll lose 1 point for each one, and the player with the most points is declared the winner. If there's a tie, the tie is broken by the tied player who has the least amount of sad animals. And if the tie still persists, then the players will simply share the victory. There are some optional rules that you can play with if you would like to kind of spice the game up a little bit, add some strategic play once you've played a couple of games and have the basic concept down. One thing you can choose to play with is revealing 4 animals instead of 3. So you would simply have a third face-up card out here, and then the top card of the deck would still be available to play. So you would have 4 animals to choose from. The other rule change that you can choose to play with is at the end of the game, the player who has the most horizontal cards, again, happy animals and locations added together, of a single color will receive 3 points. And then in case of a draw, where players are tied for the most of a single color, then each of those tied players would get 1 point. So it can help pump the scoring up a little bit there. There's also a solo mode in the game that gives you a set number of turns to try to acquire 10 horizontal cards within a set number of turns, and then you can try to beat your own score and gauge it against the book. I'll leave that for you to check out if you're interested in the solo mode there. But this is everything you need to know to play Super Kawaii Pets. Let's jump back over to the table and I'll give you my thoughts. So that is Super Kawaii Pets. This game is, it's super cute. You saw the illustrations. The animals are adorable, both in their sad faces and when they're happy and excited. Some of the animals, even though it's referred to as the sad side, some of the animals look angry before you cheer them up and make them happy. But the art in this game is adorable. There's no denying that. When I first saw this game and before I sat down to demo it and give it a try, my first thought was this is going to be a really light game, just based on the art alone, the art style, and the fact that the box says ages 8 and up. So we're like, okay, it's super cute art, ages 8 and up. This is going to be an incredibly light game, family game to play with your kids. And that is true. You can absolutely play it with, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids. Adults can play it. What I like about it, what I wasn't expecting, is how much you can combo the cards that you're playing. You can hold cards in your hand, set up a good combo, and play those out. Because I could play, I'm going to pick this animal, I'm going to play it immediately because it lets me then take a pink card, and that pink card can then be played immediately to satisfy another animal. And then that animal becomes, the third cat that I've got, so now I get to claim this location that's face up. So there's all this comboing that can happen. So there is some deeper strategy than I was expecting with this game. I really enjoyed that kind of surprise. I wasn't expecting a game that looked this cute, that was targeting an 8+ age demographic, to be this strategic. So that was a pleasant surprise with the game. One of the things with the game that could be a negative, I didn't particularly care or have this, but I could see folks saying that for as light as the game is, there's too much downtime. If you've got players that are sitting at the table and they're looking at the cards that are available and they're kind of figuring out, okay, if I take that resource card, then I can play this animal, I can do that. But wait, if I do this animal, then this resource card, then it triggers in a different way and I can score. If they're doing all that min-maxing for a game that's this light, your downtime can drag on, and there could be some downtime, especially at the full 4-player game. I have played this game at 2, 3, and 4. All player counts are fantastic. The only thing I've not done yet is played it solo. There is a solo mode for the game. I've yet to play it solo, so I can't speak to that at the moment, at least at the time of recording this video. But the multiplayer, 2, 3, and 4 players, all plays really well. Similar play style or similar play time as well. But it's great. I think the like I said, the downtime is probably the one negative that you may be able to find, the one negative you might run into with your group, in that you sit there, you played your couple of cards that you can play, and done the few things that you can do, and now you're sitting there while three other players go, and if all three of those players are trying to determine their, trying to min-max their points, or min-max every single play that they make, you could be sitting there a while, and that could be a negative to this. This isn't a game that certainly is not going to be a staple of game night. Your heavier, crunchier games are generally your game night staples, the things that last an hour, 2 hours, something like that. This is going to be a game that you are playing either in between games, you're playing at the start of game night while folks are still showing up, you're finishing it out at the end of the night. This is also a great thing to throw on the dinner table. You've had dinner with the family. You want to play a quick game before the kids head off to bed or head off to do homework, whatever's going on. This is a great quick game to throw on the table and play and have that kind of face-to-face family time before people go back to their screens. It's also a great game to sit and play where you're just socializing. You just want to have a game that you can play where you're having some snacks and some drinks with friends and being able to chit-chat. The game's light enough that it's not distracting for you to be having those conversations and hanging out, talking about other things, snacking, drinking, alcoholic, non-alcoholic, your preference. But it's a great game. It fits all those niches as well. And of course, we already touched on the art. The art is absolutely adorable. And it's probably one of my favorite things of the game is just the super cute animals that are there. And I like the fact that they've split those animals into groups. You have your dogs and your cats and your kind of other category with your horses and your chameleons and those kinds of things. And then you've got your rodent category with your rabbits and your guinea pigs and all that. So it kind of, lets you lean. Do I want to go all cat because those are the locations that are coming out? Maybe I want to play dogs because I'm a dog person. So I want to play the dogs regardless of what locations come out. It's really up to you to determine your own play style. But I highly encourage you to check it out. If you get a chance to pick it up, you can check it out, Arcane Wonders website. Find Arcane Wonders at your local conventions, your local game store. Pick up Super Kawaii Pets. It's a very light game that has some depth and some strategy to it, so the kids will enjoy it because it's simple to play and simple to learn. The adults will learn it because there is some strategy there, and it's not just mindless, flipping cards and looking for matches and those kinds of things. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer those questions, and until next time, keep gaming, friends.